In a quiet corner of the world, far away from noise, tall buildings and busy streets, there was a small and peaceful village. The village was surrounded by soft green fields and gentle hills that looked golden in the evening light. Children played near the river, farmers greeted each other with warm smiles, and the air always smelled of fresh earth and sweet flowers. Life was simple there, but it was also full of calm, kindness, and small joys that made each day feel gentle and pure. In this village lived a humble, old woman named Mira. She was small in size, her back slightly bent with age and her hands wrinkled like old paper. But her eyes were bright, soft, warm, and full of love. Mira had lived in the village her whole life. Everyone respected her because she always spoke kindly, helped others whenever she could, and carried a quiet strength that made people feel safe around her. Even the little children liked to sit near her while she shared stories from long ago. Mira lived alone in a tiny clay house at the end of a narrow path. Her home was simple, just 2 rooms, a little garden with colorful flowers, and an old wooden chair where she liked to sit in the early mornings. She did not have much money or many belongings, but she never complained. She believed that having a peaceful heart was more important than having a full pocket. But inside Mira's heart, there was one worry she hid from everyone. She was getting older, and sometimes her body felt weak. There were days when her legs trembled and her hands shook as she worked. Whenever she looked at the tall hill behind the village, she whispered to herself, "I am too old now. Maybe I cannot do much anymore." She never said this to anyone, but the thought stayed quietly in her mind, making her feel small. Still, every morning she woke up, lit a small lamp, and told herself, "I must keep trying. Even small steps matter." She did not know that soon life would test her in a way she never expected, and show her a truth she had forgotten, that no one should ever underestimate themselves, no matter how old or weak they think they are. One cloudy morning, as Mira sat outside her little house sipping warm tea, she noticed a young boy walking slowly along the dusty path. His name was Arjun, a quiet child from the same village. Usually, Arjun was cheerful and full of energy. He loved to run with his friends, fly paper kites, and help his father in the fields. But today, something was different. His shoulders were bent, his steps were heavy, and his eyes looked sad, as if they carried a small storm inside them. Mira watched him for a moment, her heart filling with concern. She gently called out, "Arjun, my child, why do you look so worried today?" Arjun stopped and lowered his head. He tried to smile, but it was weak and trembling. Slowly, he walked toward Mira and sat near her feet, like he often did when he needed comfort. After a long silence, Arjun finally spoke in a soft, shaky voice. "Grandma Mira, I am scared. I feel like I cannot do anything right anymore." Mira's eyebrows folded with worry. "What happened, dear?" Arjun took a deep breath. "My school is having a big reading test tomorrow. All my friends read quickly and easily, but I read slowly. Sometimes I mix up words. My teacher says I must practice more, but no matter how much I try, I make mistakes. My father works so hard and my mother always encouraged me. I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to fail, but I feel like I will." His voice broke and he looked away, blinking back tears. Mira placed her warm, gentle hand on his head. She could feel how deeply his worry hurt him. His small heart felt heavy, like it was carrying a weight too big for his young shoulders. Arjun continued, "Everyone is better than me. I'm not strong like the other boys. I am not smart like the other students. I feel useless sometimes. I don't know what to do." The old woman listened carefully, her own heart softening with empathy. She remembered her own silent fears, the ones she hid in the quiet corners of her mind. Looking at Arjun, she felt a deep ache. His pain reminded her of her own, wrapped quietly in age and loneliness. In that moment, 2 different lives, one old, one young, were connected by the same feeling, the fear that they were not enough. And Mira knew she had to help him. Even before she helped herself, Mira looked at Arjun with kind eyes and gently lifted his chin so he would look at her. Her voice was soft but steady, like a warm blanket for a cold heart. "Arjun," she said, "do you know something?" Even the tallest trees were once small seeds. They did not grow in one day. They needed time, sunlight, rain, and patience. And you are just the same. Arjun listened quietly, wiping his tears. Mira continued, "Let me tell you a small story. When I was a young girl, I wanted to make clay pots like the village potter. He made beautiful pots, smooth, round, and strong. I tried many times to make my own pot, but every time the clay broke or the shape became crooked. I felt so sad. I thought, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this is not for me," she smiled softly. But the potter saw me crying one day. He came to me and said, "Mira, clay learns from your hands, just like you learn from your mistakes. Do not be afraid of trying again." His words stayed in my heart. Arjun's eyes grew curious. "What did you do, Grandma Mira?" "I tried again," she said. "And again. And again?" Slowly, my pots became better. They were not perfect, but they were mine. And the potter smiled and said, "See? You were always capable. You only needed to believe it." Mira touched Arjun's hand gently. "You feel slow now, but slow does not mean weak. Slow means careful. Slow means learning. Every child grows at a different speed. You only need to keep trying." Arjun breathed out, a small spark of hope returning to his face. "You are not failing, my child," Mira whispered. "You are growing." The next morning, Arjun woke up earlier than usual. The sky was still soft and pale, and the birds were only beginning to sing. For a moment, he felt the same fear he always felt before school. His stomach felt tight, and his mind replayed all his mistakes. But then he remembered Mira's gentle words. Slow does not mean weak. You are growing. He sat up, took a deep breath, and whispered to himself, "I will try again today. I will not give up." Instead of rushing through his reading like he usually did, Arjun opened his small book and began to read slowly, just like Mira advised. This time, he did not worry about finishing fast. He focused on each word carefully. When he made a mistake, he did not get angry. He simply smiled a little and said, "It's okay. I can try again." His mother watched him from the doorway, surprised by how calm and focused he looked. She didn't disturb him. She just felt proud. On his way to school, the wind felt different, lighter, as if it carried a small hope with it. Arjun still felt nervous, but he also felt stronger inside, like a tiny plant pushing out of the soil. During the reading test, his hands shook a little, but he remembered Mira's story about the clay pots. "Clay learns from your hands," she had said. So Arjun let the words learn from his eyes and his voice. He read slowly, carefully, and with patience. Even when he got stuck, he did not panic. When he finished, his teacher smiled at him. Arjun smiled too, not because he was perfect, but because he had changed. He had tried. He had believed in himself, even if only a little, and that little belief was the beginning of something bigger. A few weeks passed, and life in the village moved gently, like the slow flow of the river nearby. Arjun continued practicing his reading every morning. Some days were easy, and some were difficult, but he always remembered Mira's warm voice telling him not to give up. Slowly, his confidence began to grow. Just like a small seed becoming a young plant, one sunny afternoon, Arjun's teacher called him to the front of the class. His heart jumped with surprise and a little fear. The teacher held a small sheet of paper and smiled kindly. "Arjun," she said, "I want you to read this for everyone." For a moment, Arjun froze. Old worry tried to rise inside him, but he pressed his feet firmly on the ground and breathed deeply. "I can try. I have grown," he told himself quietly. He began reading, slowly at first, but clearly. The class listened. His voice was steady, and even when he paused on a difficult word, he didn't panic. He just tried again. When he finished, the whole class clapped softly. His teacher patted his shoulder and said, "You see, Arjun? Hard work always shines." Arjun felt warmth spread through his chest. It wasn't just happiness, it was pride. A quiet, peaceful pride that told him he was stronger than he thought. When he walked home later, he saw Mira sitting outside her tiny clay house. Her face lit up the moment she saw him. Arjun ran to her and said, "Grandma Mira, I did it. I read in front of everyone." Mira's eyes sparkled. I knew you could, she whispered, squeezing his hand gently. The warm evening light fell on them, soft and golden. And in that moment, both Arjun and Mira felt the same hope, the belief that with patience, courage, and a little faith, wonderful things can grow inside anyone. Believe in yourself, even when you feel small or weak. Every step you take with courage and patience helps you grow. With kindness, hope, and a positive mind, you can overcome challenges and discover the strength that was always inside you.